Julie.
Ready.
Okay. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we are live on a Wednesday, ready to wrap up the week until feedback on Saturday. The official weapon of the show
The
is
taser.
the unofficial sport.
Bullet ball.
Oh yeah, you messed up, huh?
Oh,
You had a good
damn.
streak going.
I did.
You had a real good streak going.
That's why I always have to think. Y'all be like, why she be pausing? Bitch, I got to think. Oh, no. Oh, shit. Now we got to set it back to 0. I'm sorry, y'all.
All right, the official weapon of the show is
Phone jail.
and the unofficial sport.
Bullet ball.
A bullet ball, extreme. All right, there's lots to talk about. First of all, do you have any banter?
I do.
All right. Do you have any banter? Talk to me. Do you have any banter? Talk to me. Do you have any banter? Do you have any banter?
I do.
Talk to me. Do you have any banter?
I do.
Banter. All right, Karen, hit us up.
My first banter is and this is not a big thing, but I personally think it's a big accomplishment for me. We was doing 3 Guys On, and I guess I be twisting and twirling my mic over here, and my mic decided to disconnect and just fall off to pieces. Wow. And it did kind of disconnect it while we were recording. And I was so proud of myself because I actually figured out how to put it on and get all the screws and stuff all by myself. And I didn't, because y'all know me, but you don't really know me. A lot of times when things like this happen, I go into flat panic mode. But I was like, don't panic, Karen. It's gonna be all right. Take as long as you need. And I had to remind myself, nobody's rushing me. Nobody's mad. I know this. I had to kind of talk myself down. Nobody's mad. Nobody's angry. Nobody's upset. You know, you can figure it out, because I was just trying to twist it back on, and for some reason it wouldn't connect right for me just to twist it back on like I normally do. And so I ended up having to kind of take it all apart and put it all back together again. And I'm very, very proud of myself that I accomplished it. And then pieces was like falling all over the place and stuff like that. I didn't know what, pieces were falling down and stuff, and I picked them up. So I'm very, very proud of myself for figuring out how to do that shit in the background very quietly and getting my shit together.
Nah, that's cool. You should be proud of yourself. That's that's an accomplishment, because I think a lot of that's just learning to deal with anxiety, and so you kind of talked yourself out of the panic of it all, which is how I deal with mine most of the time. Is just there's a voice in my head that kind of talks me off the ledge and back into, like, anytime there's like a task that I'm not familiar with that I start getting worked up about, I think about how so many people have done it, and I'm smart. I can do it. If dumb people have figured this out, my smart ass can figure it out. Okay, dumb people found out how to renew their license. Why am I getting all worked up? So yeah, it definitely helps. I have a few myself. The worst part about this Haitian immigrant lie that Vance and Trump have spread about Haitians eating cats and killing their neighbors' pets and eating them and stuff, is that it skipped right past the universal fact that I thought we all recognize, which is that there's no such thing as a missing cat.
Cats leave.
Yeah.
If a cat don't want to be found, you ain't gonna find them.
Your cat just left, and you need to accept that. It's never needed or liked you.
Right.
And it'll come around if it feels like it.
If it feels like
sometimes 10, 15 years later, if you're still alive, it'll come back to that house. Sometimes I think that's what happens with cats, is that people are like, wow, this cat just started hanging out in my house. I'm like, no, you bought that house from somebody, and that was their cat, and then they gone, and then the cat came back to the house, and they don't care that those people are gone. It's like, this is my house, and y'all my people now, because you're the pets, not me. And so I think
you feed me.
I hate that this lie happened, because it came out today that the resident who started this whole thing has now apologized, and The picture of her is amazing. I want to show y'all this picture of her because she's in full Trump regalia. Her name is Anna Kilgore. Big ass Trump flag, Trump hat, Trump shirt, and just the saddest version of what a Trump supporter looks like. And she's like, yeah, my bad. The cat that my neighbor was talking about missing, or the cat that I thought was my neighbor stole, it showed up in my basement.
What?
It was in the basement the whole time. Miss Sassy is the name of the cat. It had just been hanging out in the basement. Ma'am, that cat don't like you. Don't ever report a missing cat. Don't waste my time. If I see a flyer around my neighborhood for a missing cat, I tear it down and throw it in the trash. Because I'm like, leave the cat alone. Clearly it needs some space.
From you.
The cat needs some time. Like, just let the motherfucker have a little bit of time. I don't know why y'all
It'll be back if it even want to come back.
Yeah, why are you stressing the cat out? Okay, what did you do to the cat? Maybe you got bad vibes. Maybe you put too many plants in your house. I don't know what cats are into.
Somebody said because the cat was voting for Harris.
Yeah, maybe the cat looked around and said, "These niggas voting for Trump. I'm out.
I'm out.
I need a break. I can get my own food."
Ain't that the truth?
All right, Karen, your turn.
My next one is more of a podcast recommendation.
Okay, now you normally do these on the pregame, but go ahead.
Oh, that's true.
It's all right. It's all right.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Y'all need to get behind the paywall.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Give me a little free game today. Karen, go ahead, give me a free game.
Yeah, this is a podcast recommendation. I listen to the daily, but I normally don't do the dailies they do on the weekends because they normally
the Sunday read.
Yeah, and all that type of stuff. But I happen to listen to one of the Sunday reads, and the Sunday read this Sunday was the Sunday read for-profit city that might come crashing down. And this one was interesting because I know it sounds silly. I never knew that there was such thing as for-profit cities, but they say they literally have them all over the world. And they say what happens is that you have these corporations and or Silicon Valley bros that go into places and just buy up areas. And they said that they have, I want to say it's Honduran, the Silicon Valley bros and the Honduran government are having a problem because they have a city that they got there. And the thing about the city is that it does not have to follow the same rules and regulations that the federal government has set, which means it can build their buildings as high as they want to. They don't have to, if they have any form of medication that they're doing, they don't have to follow any regulations that the government has set. They don't have to follow any regulations that you have on the environment or any of those things. And to actually be a particularly this particular city that they're talking about that's having a problem with the Honduran government, basically you have to pay to be a member. So basically you pass the paperwork, you fill it out, you pay the fee, and you're kind of in. And I was thinking, they don't do no background check. Like, I had so many like questions kind of behind these things. And just like everything else with the Silicon Valley bros, they don't really care about rules and regulations. They just do shit. And normally the federal government has to be like, you can't do that. And all of a sudden, they have to come in on the backside. But this is basically that unchecked and unregulated. And so it's not safe for anybody involved. And I actually have people, that live in the city and function in the city. They have like restaurants and shops and things like that within the city. And they have like their own armed guards and things like that. And the person was saying they actually went to the city. Like the person in NPR was like, they actually, paid for it and they went to the city. And they were saying, when you go up, you can either turn left or turn right. And it was like, you go one direction, you basically see the citizens of the town, and they like basically very poor. And you look on the living in shacks, you live on the other side, you see like all these buildings and all that stuff. They was like, it's a vast difference there. And it's one of those things where basically the Honduran government's like, y'all got to go. Like, this is some bullshit. Like, we don't want you here. So basically, they're suing the government for more than what the government is worth, and shit like that. And I was like, how the shit is this shit even legal? Because basically, the Honduran government's like, we want y'all out of here. We're gonna make rules to be sure that this never happens again, because this shit is fucking ridiculous. It's a waste of our resources, and shit like this. And the people that actually live there probably can't even afford to go into the area. Or if they do, they're probably working, like, and shit like that. Like, they can't live here, they can't afford anything there. And so a lot of this is like people that don't even live there, probably don't even speak the language, piling in these areas, eating up the resources, and shit like this. I was like, I didn't even know these cities existed, but they said, yeah, they're all around the world. And the thing is, when you say a for-profit city, that's ridiculous. They have somebody that actually runs the city who normally would be considered a mayor, and they're not the mayor of the city. They're like, basically, there's somebody who handles the finance and shit, the shit that a mayor would do, but they don't call them a mayor and shit like this, basically. So they're basically restricting what they can and cannot do. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one of them things where it's a business, so they don't like what you're doing. They basically can fire you, because that's the fuck what businesses do.
Yeah, it's like a CEO, not a mayor.
Yes. And so I was like, this shit is fucked up. I was like, this is why when people go, we want our government to run like a business. Bitch, you don't. You don't.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think also, I wonder if like Diddy is kicking himself, because like that sounds like a place where you could have a lot of freak offs, and the law could never impede. Like
they probably wouldn't even
who
bother
knows what
you.
kind of debauchery is happening in a city like that?
Right, because
if there's no legal police, there's just your security force. You could do whatever the fuck you want to, which is crazy. Let's see. I had a couple more things. Oh man, I was talking to my trainer today. I've been working out and losing weight and all this stuff. And she was, I went to go do the in-body. There's a test called the in-body test. You like take your shirt, your socks, your shoes off, and then you hold your arms to your side of this machine, and it sends like electric pulse through your body and stuff. You can't feel the pulse, but it like tells you what the composition of like your body is, like your muscle, your fat, your and it goes all the way like your legs, your arms, your torso, like all that stuff. And so of course, I'm like, I do the in body, and I just wear the clothes I always wear to the gym. I was actually wearing the clothes I was wearing when I first even went to the gym, the beginning of this year. And at the end of it, and it was a good result. Like everything was down. My muscle was kind of my muscle was holding the same. Like it was growing a lot before, but I was kind of sick for a couple weeks, so I was like,
kind of plateaued.
Yeah, it kind of plateaued. I wasn't able to work out as hard as I wanted to, but I was still, eating the right things and doing the right things. So, my weight was coming down, but then my muscle was just kind of holding steady. But that's fine.
At least you didn't lose, because that's one thing they'd be concerned about.
Yeah. Well, I lost a little bit in like one arm and stuff. It's not nothing major. It's all trending in great areas.
Good.
But she was like, have you thought about buying like less loose fitting clothes? And I'm like, no, because I already have my clothes that I have. I'm throwing away some clothes that are too big now, because I do have some clothes that are so big that it's like they're gone, and I am looking at it in the light of like I probably won't ever wear them again.
Right.
So boom. But she's like, what about like just other clothes that are like tighter or whatever? And I'm like, I don't like tight clothes. Like I've never liked tight clothes.
Yeah, that's never been your jam.
Even when I was younger, shit,
not like tight clothes.
Even when I was weighed less, and that has never been an appealing look to me. And I was thinking like, oh, but you're my trainer. It's kind of hard to show off the work we've been doing and how far we've come if all my clothes are basically the same size as the clothes I wore earlier.
Right.
To most people, it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, I guess I can tell he's losing some weight. I can tell he's working out. He's getting a little more fit, but they can't really tell because my shit might as well be a bed sheet hanging off of me. So I had to think about possibly buying a couple smaller shirts and shit. But I did wear like I normally wear like basketball clothes, like not to play back, but basketball like fanatics, like big t-shirts that got the Hornets on and stuff like that, which are all oversized in on purpose.
Right.
And today I just wore like a regular t-shirt, and she was like, "Okay, yeah, I can see it," da da da. I was like, "Okay, cool. Maybe she probably want to take a picture or something." But back to you.
I just had
Okay,
two.
and the last thing is I saw a trailer. I mean, not trailer. I saw a fucking tweet that said "Passion of the Christ 2."
Electric Boogaloo. What's happening here?
I didn't watch.
Oh, New Testament?
I didn't watch Passion of the Christ. You did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it end on a cliffhanger?
No. No.
Okay, because what the fuck? Like, I don't understand.
Passion of the Christ running it back again?
Like, what is part 2 gonna be about?
Passion of the Christ, the rebeating? What's happening here?
I don't. Right.
What is happening here?
What, like, is Mel Gibson gonna direct it again?
Right.
What happens at the end of Passion of the Christ? Does he die and he come back, or they don't show him come back? Do you remember? I've never seen it.
I don't remember. He probably did die and come back. Yeah, something like that.
I don't remember.
But,
I know.
They took you through the crucifixion.
We all know the story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is it like they put him in the cave, and then that's how the movie ends, and then the cave, they come back and the rock is moved from in front of the cave, and that's the end of the movie? Or is it like you stay after the credits and Nick Fury show up?
Bro, yeah.
It's like, "I got a job for you, Jesus. I need you to join the Avengers.
I need you to join the crew, Jesus.
I got a group. I got a group I'm working with."
They say you a miracle worker. Come work some miracles over here.
Yeah. Is he going to get revenge in Passion of the Christ too?
I don't know.
Is he going to ride on the Romans? Like, I heard you niggas was talking shit. I done turned 2 cheeks on you. Now it's time for me to turn these hands.
Passion of the Christ, I done ran out of cheeks.
Yeah. Yeah, he's back and he's all out of cheeks to turn.
Right? No more turning of the cheeks.
Right. I'm gonna turn this water to red with your blood.
Passion of the Christ. Fish fry too.
Right.
What is happening here?
Oh man. 40 days and 40 nights of pain. That's a job. Do not forgive them, Father, because they know what they did.
Yes, they know what they did.
Jesus is back. All right, and then another thing. It's not really banter, but matter of fact, we'll use this as the beginning of the show. Let me play one of these beats, and we'll come right back. All right, the name of that beat was Gil 1, GIL 1, and let me see if that was DJ Jaffa. Yeah, DJ Jaffa did that beat, which I'm not sure if DJ Jaffa even has his stuff on like Spotify and stuff for y'all to go listen to, but I just want to give him a shout out. He's like a super fan. If you're on his Instagram, he's always DJing parties. He's always wearing like Blackout Tips gear during the parties. Like, he's a super cool dude.
He is.
So, shits and giggles, shits and gigs, as they go.
Okay, most of
update.
Oh shit.
So we played their apology.
Mm-hmm.
We played their the clip of them on Andrew Schultz's show, laughing at Andrew Schultz make a lot of anti-black woman comments, in my opinion. And I think me, you, and Chris Lambert were on that episode, and I talked about how I found them to be go along to get along dudes. I think this happens with dudes a lot. When they apologized, I felt that it was a confirmation when they said fight or flight kicked in, and I said, yeah, because y'all scared. Y'all not really leaders of men. Y'all don't really stand on your own too. You don't really walk into another person's show with your podcast brand in mind and on your back. I mean, I'm not, this isn't even like a diss, because I think most people are like this. You're not walking around with the idea of black women and them listening as your first and foremost thought
Right.
about the material you put into the world, which I mean, which is probably the vast majority of podcasters don't think like that.
Agreed.
If they consider black women at all.
Right.
And so I was not surprised by it, and I did go back and say, you know, the reason that these guys came to my purview was because of black women. It was a lot of black women sharing their content on social media being like, this is how black men, I wish more black men would interact like this, and I wish their podcast would sound like this instead of, you know, that Kevin Samuels manosphere bullshit, or you're like Hotepian ass, you know, black women need to dress like this, and or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad people like them. They weren't really for me, so I wasn't checking for them like that.
I've heard their name before, but it's just they never came up in my privilege. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they out there. Like, it's one of them things like you just know people exist. But, you know, I'm busy doing so many other things, just never really sat down and listened.
Yeah, and so, you know, and once again, it wasn't even a diss to them. I've heard their podcast before. I've listened for a few episodes and fell off. Sometimes it's just shit's not for you, and you don't walk away feeling offended or mad or upset by the people. You just walk away like, you know, somebody else will enjoy that. At any rate, that was all the information we had at the time, and because we're not super fans, how would we know everything? But we got a comment on our YouTube from Solus1262, says, love this episode and I love the show. This is from yesterday's episode. Wanted to give my 2 cents about the podcast clip with Andrew Schultz. I think it's great that you have empathy for the two guys and want to give them grace. I also think it's easier for you to do because you aren't the direct target and aren't in their demographic. So already with this comment, you're erasing Karen. This happens a lot with people that say they're standing up for black women. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why y'all feel this way. If you want to address me, just say Rod. It's fine. It's no problem. But if you're not listening for Karen, who was there and talking and commenting the same way that I was, then I don't know what else to say, because you're doing the thing that you're claiming other people do, which is just basically look right past this black woman and come straight for me. Now, this could be that there's issues you have around the way black men talk about black women, which I don't mind. I think that's a fact, and I think that's a real issue. And so maybe you want to lump me in with these people so you can have like a good a person to go at or whatever. But just already off top, a couple sentences in, I'm like, all right, here, what's really going to be the point of this? You know what I mean? And I'm not disparaging you or saying that means you don't love the show or love that you're coming to tug my coat or my sleeve or whatever. But off tops, you're already saying like, you're not in the demographic. Is Karen not a black woman, or is there another demographic that was addressed? I know you don't mean any harm, but I find it interesting that so much grace is given to this trend of black men in media degrading, or in case participating in the degradation of black women. This is not a one-off for black men in media or real life.
Okay, this does not sound like this is addressed to directly to you, and
who do you think it's addressed to then?
This is a general statement. This is not like something that they've had on their mind or something that they've been arguing with people online, and this was a jumping off point for them to voice their opinion. Other people have written in like this where you're not really talking to us, but you write in like you're talking to us, and you code it like you're talking to us. But when we get down into it, you're not actually talking to us.
Right. You're talking about another issue that didn't happen on this podcast.
Correct.
Because what I will say is I feel like our show is very different than the vast majority of these podcasts that tackle pop culture. And one of the ways that we are different is that we do give grace. I will say that. I don't think we give grace specifically to black men. I think we give grace to just about everybody. But we keep it real. I don't pull no punches. We don't sit up here and try to like sugarcoat the shit. When I said I thought that shit was weak, when I said I thought those dudes were cowards, when I said I thought those dudes, when I quoted the line, they when I say they don't understand blackness in America and they're here out across the pond out of their depth, and I said to end that segment, I believe I said they come to America to imitate heritage, but they can't imitate this violence, meaning they not like us, which I can't see that as a compliment or grace in any way. Just because I didn't call them motherfuckers or whatever, I wouldn't say that I was giving them any undue grace. And then, but in general, I think we give a lot of grace on this show comparatively because we're not very performative. You know, I think a lot of people are used to performative, and honestly, I think that's what got these niggas in trouble. Like, you should be yourself. I'm not a very mean person, period. I'm a very understanding people. I'm the kind of person you can be friends with, disagree with, and I still show you love.
Right.
I will always try to show you respect unless you disrespect me or you do something so disrespectful I can't fucking say anything. Doesn't mean I won't tug your coat. Doesn't mean I won't say, hey, that I disagree with that. I think what you did was foul. I'll always be able to do that. But this idea that they got some allotment of grace that we don't give, and specifically from me, that we wouldn't give to someone else, I gotta completely disagree. We was the people talking about Kamala when y'all was calling her Cop Mala and denigrating her record. That's a black woman last time I checked. I even hate to go through these bona fides because it's I'm not keeping tab, but I was just thinking of these off the top of my head. When people were saying cancel Lizzo over some allegations from the other dancers, this the only podcast I know of that was like, everybody chill the fuck out. Think about, let's read through this and go and look through it. Whenever like Summer Walker or Cardi B or somebody crashes out on Instagram Live saying some inappropriate shit or saying something that, you know, doesn't line up with everyone's politics, we're not out here like, fuck them, we throwing them in the trash. I've never went and found some clip of black women shitting on black men and played it on this show so that I could do the whole like false equivalency and be all upset. You know, we don't play those divest women because they exist, but we're not on here looking for that material so we can be outraged and be like, it's just the same as when Kevin Samuels say what he say, we got to go find somebody. So I take umbrage to this, to just the premise of this. I think this is a false premise to try to set up the show with. I don't feel like these dudes were given any more grace than we would give anyone else that was, unless they were a repeat offender.
Yeah, now you're a repeat offender.
Or if they were so egregious, which in the clip with Andrew Schultz, they were not. They were giggling, laughing, looking like some go along to get along buddies that just didn't have the fortitude to say, let's just have an awkward moment where I tell you what you're saying is fucked up. So I don't think what they, in the only clip I know of, because I don't listen to the show, I haven't seen any other clips at this moment that we recorded this show, I didn't see any reason that we would need to go harder than we did, which I don't feel like we went soft.
And also, I think that sometimes when things happen, the anger that people have, they want us to display their same anger. And when we don't, all of a sudden, it's y'all show grace. You know, because we didn't come out and yell and scream and shit like this, it does not mean that we didn't have a problem. You know, just because we weren't raising our voices and, you know, pounding the ground and, like I said, performing, you know, people think where we really didn't go in that hard, but that's not true.
Yeah, I will never. I mean, it's just something I've decided over the past like 5 or so years because I feel like I used to fall into this trap. But I will never, ever, ever pander to anybody on this podcast. I just say how I feel and what I'm really thinking. And my integrity is much more valuable than whether people like or don't like us. There's a lot of other podcasts out there. And I'm not saying this person doesn't like us or something.
Right.
But there's a lot of other podcasts that I see do this that almost like play up to an audience. And so many of them fall short when tested because they were never real.
Right.
They were always full of shit. I think, no offense to these guys because I don't know them like that, and I'm only using them as an example because maybe they're like this, maybe they're not. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say that this podcast, just a podcast. I've listened to podcasts where they say stuff like, listen, we get it. We just want to make this a safe space for, you know, whatever group, you know, black women or da-da-da-da. And Maybe I'm dating a white woman, maybe I'm married to one, whatever, but this is about my sisters and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. That shit will be apparent as you do your show. And there's no, you saying that means nothing to me. I purposely have made a point of never calling our show a safe space for anybody, because there is no such thing as safety for everybody, just because people's definition of safety moves.
Yes, it
It
does.
changes. What felt safe today won't feel safe tomorrow.
Nope.
I can't promise what was safe 5 years ago listening to this show is the same as what you think is safe today. The intention is never to be harmful towards anyone, but
Agreed.
I can't promise that. And so even when these dudes apologized and said we want to be a safe space for black women and shit, I was like, they're still kind of good luck, because going forward will be the only thing that shows that.
Only time will tell.
She says it's not even a one-off for these guys. This happens more often than not. When is this behavior going to be addressed as what it is, which is hate? More clips have come out of them dissing black women in the past. How could I have known? How could I have known? I can't speak for older generations of black women, but a lot of younger black women have run out of patience with black men that display this behavior, hence the backlash. I think a lot of older women have too. That's why you see a lot of older single black women too, because they ain't dealing with no bullshit. And a lot of these brothers refuse to grow up, refuse to educate themselves, refuse to be considerate to anybody outside of themselves and their purview. I think that is a consistent thread that I have called out on this show going back a long ways. So in that way, like I said, I take umbrage to the framing of this, because it is not fucking true. You know what I mean? Like, not on this show. I'm the motherfucker that, I'll just say, there's been times where I've been the fucking number one star on Twitter because people didn't like the way I framed something. People still quoting it to this day. And I'm trying, and the only thing I regret about it is that I phrased it in a way that allowed people to misunderstand it on purpose and to try to use it in a certain way. But I stand by the sentiment of what I said. I've talked about black male privilege throughout our intra community issues. It doesn't mean that black men are not oppressed. It doesn't mean black men are not targeted by the law and by police and by racism. It's not saying that. It's like, and like I said, I actually hate talking about this shit because I don't do it so that I can have this moment on the show.
Right.
But if you're gonna try to, pull the card or be like, you giving too much grace, I have to push back and be like, no, the fuck, I'm not. I might be a graceful person, but everybody get the same amount. You know what I mean? There's been, when someone says like, oh, Taylor Swift racist, she get the same amount of like, let me go look into this that these niggas would get. Period. That's it. No one gets a favorite over here. If you fucked up, you fucked up. If you do good, you do good. I don't like throwing people away in general.
Right.
I've just because I've seen too much of the complexity of humanity to believe that none of us is our worst moment, none of us is our best moment.
Agreed.
We all kind of exist in this in between, and the same people that have so much righteous indignation, normally anonymous, normally not on record for anybody, normally don't have to live a public life.
Right.
So the same grace I would allot to someone making a mistake in public is probably the same grace I would like for myself, even though I know that's not always capable. But I would exude that towards anyone. I would not exude that only for black men. Our show's not that. The women that introduced these men into the diaspora of like, listen to these podcasts, they were not pick-me-ass black women or old black women. They were young black women, for the record, that were like, yo, these brothers are doing it right. So I didn't want to just pull their card because I don't even want to question the judgment of those black women. I want to be like, you know what? Maybe they was cool and they just fucked up.
Right.
Why would I assume the worst off of one thing that I saw? Okay. I have a feeling that if famous black women did this to black men in mass, there wouldn't be much grace. On this podcast? Are you a fan?
Yeah, like I said, and my thing is, baby, I don't really think this is for us. I think they're just talking in general because, like you say, is the way you're addressing things that we never said. So it's like, well, then this isn't this statement, this right here isn't for us.
Yeah, like I don't like, and I hate that you're feeling like this is what's happening. in general, because I agree. I do think it
Right.
happens in general. I do think on vast majority of podcasts, they make a space that is like this, and then they go, "What? Oh, what's happening?" Diddy. I mean, look, what did Diddy do? If you have ever had a woman, if you flew a woman out, it's the same thing. I just know that our show isn't that, and it's very interesting to exist in a at a nexus point where someone would say something like this about what I have to assume is me, because you just kind of just said not caring or she's not in the demographic. But to exist in this nexus point where at once you could feel this way, and then there's so many black men that do not fucking like me and never will. There's a lot of brothers that tolerate me. They are my
Yes.
They're friendly with me
They
because they think
tolerate
I'm
you.
somebody, but they just tolerate me. They don't agree with none of my politics or my point of view.
And all it takes is quote unquote one slip up for them to be like, fuck Rod.
All I do is talk about us being accountable. I'm not admonishing us. Okay, I love us, but all I talk about is accountability. Shit that I think is the bottom rung. Raising your motherfucking kids.
Right.
Not abusing people, not sexually assaulting people, not harming violence to people. Like, these are not crazy things that I'm saying, but there are men who to this day have me blocked on social media that have written in crazy shit to our podcast. So it is interesting to see someone even approach us on this way, because these are not things that happen on our show, in my opinion. So I don't know where it's. What I think is happening is that you particularly do not want to see these dudes get any grace, and so then you extrapolate it out there like you just doing this because they black men, and this is what y'all always do, and this is what everybody's doing. And all I can say is no, not me, not us. And yes, I did think about it. Yes, I did consider it, and I just disagree. She says, "Do white conservative racists in the media deserve grace too?" No, not if they repeat offenders. No, but there's also been white people that have said a one-off thing, and I went, I can see how they fucked up, and that didn't mean that. It happens. I'm not a fucking wind-up toy or a puppet, and I'm also not a hair trigger ass reactive motherfucker. I'm a very patient person.
You are.
Now I am petty, and I am vindictive when I need to be, and I will scorch earth to the motherfucking ground. But I wait. It don't be like right away. It's motherfuckers right now that's living on grace. The same grace I showed these two motherfuckers and everybody else. They just existing on it, and I can't wait for the day. I can't wait for the day. I hope and pray they say something at some point so we can go. But that's just my dogma, and I'm never going to let anyone talk me out of it. You can't peer pressure me. You can't guilt me. You can't gaslight me like this comment is doing. I have to be myself. It's so ironic that I talked at length about how being an empath works for me and how I'm not the person that you show someone making a mistake or in an awkward situation and I jump off, I fly off the handle. I'm not that person. I'm the person that has to work backwards to go, well, that's not a good excuse, and they should have known this, and then eventually I get to, oh man, fuck them. But it don't just start at fuck them like so many people do.
Right.
And I don't consume a lot of this gender war shit. Keep in mind, this segment started as gender wars, which is not us talking about agreement or disagreement. We're just talking about the virality of this
virality.
clip. How viral will it go?
Agreed.
How much arguments will it spark? And thank you for proving us right, because it was 10 out of 10. You are arguing with us about shit we never said. But that's what the segment was. I actually did a little overtime when I was talking with Chris and Karen and was like, and also, these niggas fucked up, and here's exactly how. Best case scenario, they just went in there and was cowards. That's best case scenario. I don't see it as grace at all. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't like me being like, so y'all some cowards? Pretty sure they'd be like, nah, it's not like that. Yeah, it's like that. Fight or flight is a conflict instinct. So if that shit kicks in, you felt in some sort of danger, and your ass wasn't. It's just a goddamn podcast. This white man, just a white man. Anyway, a white man that has copied a lot of blackness, by the way, that would not be here without blackness, and then has the nerve to shit on it. But those are the kind of people that Charlamagne lets into the party. Do white conservative racists again love the show and know that you aren't agreeing with their behavior, just wanted to offer a different perspective. All love. There's a different perspective, and then there's just different sets of facts. This was different. This was not what happened on our show, and our show is not a place that does this. And if you just want to hear me rant about the places that do this and how much I hate them, then you should go back and listen to some old episodes, because I have before, and I'm sure I will again, because I don't like and don't give any excuses for black men, period. Like, we can do better. We're human. I'm not going to dismiss our humanity. I'm not going to say we don't make mistakes or whatever. And I never could hate us, because I love us, and black men have, and I assume like in most of our lives, there's some black male figure that has enhanced our lives at some point. Period. That's just how it is. Not every motherfucking black man I've come across has been bad. Many of them have been good. My uncles, my father, my brother. Like, not everybody is great or perfect, but neither is every woman in my life great and perfect. Like, some of them have made mistakes too. Some of them that, like, this gender war shit is what I be talking about.
Right.
And how it erases all of that, so that I can just be like, here's the worst example of a black man, and then here come another person. Here go the worst example of a black woman. Well, I don't want to spend all day getting angry with those outliers, because for the most part, black people in my life in mass have been the most supportive people.
Agreed.
Period. Our show wouldn't be shit without black people.
Ain't that the truth?
Our tone of our show is different from most shows, because we don't do all the back and forth over women versus men bullshit that a lot of the young generation is into and is absorbing on TikTok and absorbing on social media, which is literally the worst examples, is because that's what goes viral. Very few of these moments are just like a heartwarming, like, hey man, black men and women getting along. That shit will go crickets.
Yes, it will.
But if you get on fucking Twitter and call black men bullet bags and say they all deserve to die by the cops, I promise you that person will be trending number one. And so it's just a place that encourages that type of shit. Our podcast is the opposite of that.
Yes, it is, and that's what I would say. And even the way they ended it, they just wanted to vent, like you writing into us, talking about things that are out of the purview of this show and things we did not say.
Yeah. So, but I felt like I had to address it, because I'm going to talk about these niggas again. Because like I said, I didn't see all these, any of these other clips that in the last couple of days, because they happened after our show.
Okay.
And so even in the way that this person talked about it, where it's like, they've said other things. No, we don't.
Yeah, we actually.
So why are you approaching me? Like, think about the assumption your comment is making. You must have known about this and you didn't say anything. Come on now. It's either that, or either that, or you just refuse to, or you're just not talking to us. Cause I didn't know this shit. So they had another clip that is an old clip from their show. This looks like a real old clip, because they just on a couch, two niggas with talking on a couch with no background. And then the new clip, the apology, they had like double cameras and producer and
upgrade.
Yeah. So this must be an old clip, but it's like 2 minutes long. Talking about black women.
Chick that I went to uni with, her name is it doesn't matter anyways. But she was on a TV show. I can't remember what TV show it was called actually. And this girl that I was fucking with.
Also, for the record, I don't know which of these niggas is which. That's how little I know about these dudes.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I don't know who shits and who's giggles. I don't know.
At the time, used to watch that TV show, and she was like, "Oh, there was this girl that because she wants mixed race kids. Like, her heart is set on it, so she wants a black man. That's all she goes for. Black men.
Yeah.
And there's this girl that she used to watch on a TV show who was obviously black. She was like, "Oh, I wish I was her." I'm thinking, what?
Jesus Christ.
She kept on saying, "Oh, I wish I was black. I wish I was black." I'm thinking,
Jesus Christ.
What?
For starters, if you was black, you wouldn't be getting any black men. So I'm just saying.
So that's a shot at that tells you a lot about their inner workings of their brains. Like, one, on many levels. On the first level, he's dating a white woman who fetishizes black men, because she wants a biracial baby, which I've never vibed with that. I've never understood niggas like that. I can't think of anything more disrespectful to my people than someone that just sees us as a fetish. I know a lot of black men are heartened by that. A lot of black men are into that. I've talked about it at length on this podcast. I've made jokes about those niggas on this podcast. But I've always found that, at least for me, to be very fucking weird, especially the idea of having a child, bringing a child into a world where a person fetishizes blackness. Not where they respect it, not where it's ingrained into the culture with them, not on a level of equality, but on a level of just your bare DNA. You know, it's I do not understand that being any kind of person I could respect and be in a relationship with, because I'm not a fetish. I'm a person.
Ain't that the truth?
So already you lost me with that. The second thing is when the light skinned one, I don't know which name is which, but when he says, well, if you was black, you wouldn't be getting any black men. That tells me both of these brothers they would not date black women, or they don't see black women as a default of who they should date. They see that as I would date a white woman, obviously, because I want white women. Black, and by the reason I say they feel that way internally is because they ascribe that to all black men. Like, oh, if you was a black woman, you wouldn't be getting black men. Why wouldn't you be getting black men? Because black men don't want you is the part that he didn't say out loud.
Right.
It wouldn't make sense any other way.
And most of my life, that's all that's ever approached me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that it's not true for everyone. Right. What I'm saying is the fact that they believe it is true for black men means it's definitely true for those two guys.
Okay, I
want the other guy did not challenge that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't obviously I know that's not true, because the vast majority of black men who are married, at least in America, are married to black women. I know it gets lost in the shuffle of everybody fighting back and forth on social media, but the truth of the matter is we marry each other at an extremely high rate. It may pale in comparison to a couple other ethnicities, but you know, in general, black people marry black people. It is what it is. We've done entire episodes about it. So if you like to listen to some of those episodes and not cast aspersions on us like we some type of people that's okay with this shit, you should listen to those. Mm-hmm. But that's what that told me about both of them. And the fact that it wasn't corrected by either one of them also says a lot. That speaks volumes. Like, it wasn't even, because what that lack of correction or acknowledgement of that comment means, they, at this point in their career, did not consider black women as listeners. Because even the niggas that fake it for black women, a lot of times they talk like they just don't want to get in trouble. Like, you can feel that tone where it's like, I don't know that these niggas are so pro black women as much as they're like, black women be listening and I'm scared. You know, there's a lot of I'm scared ass niggas. They didn't even acknowledge that part. It was basically just like, ha, that's funny.
I wish I was black. I wish I was black.
Jesus Christ.
What?
For starters, if you was black, you wouldn't be getting any black men. So I'm just saying.
It's just like, that's such a bold statement to say.
I wish I was black.
I wish I was black. Like, yes.
What's going on in your life?
What? Do you know what I mean?
You're white, fam.
You're white.
You're winning.
You're winning is another, you know, how they see whiteness. And for that one, you could be joking. Even the thing they said about black women could be a joke, but the fact that they felt it was acceptable that black women were the butt of that joke, that still says something about how their fucking hierarchy is set up in their brains.
You've won the game.
You're out here. You're just out here white, just with all the rights to you. And you want to be black. I'm not saying there's obviously nothing wrong with being black. I love being black, but like the fact.
Yeah, but why do you love being black? So you can fuck white women, or because I mean, look at what you said about blackness. Like this is not feeling extremely pro-black to me. It's feeling like I love that I'm this fetish for this woman.
What are you seeing that you're not experiencing? Like, what are you seeing?
Exactly.
What's so greener over here? Like, what is greener that you're thinking I'm missing out?
It blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Fucking
Obviously, there
hell.
was no negative effects on me per se because I still fucked her.
Yeah.
Like, I had been fucking her before she said that comment, and I was fucking her after that comment.
Yeah.
But it's like,
So that's the most important part of it for him, and the joke and the gag and the whatever of it is at least I got to fuck this white lady, which I would imagine there's not a shortage of white ladies to fucking in across the pond.
Mm-mm.
So this just tells me how raggedy you must be in order to be like, yeah, this woman said an extremely offensive, ridiculous fetish. She already is fetishizing me. Then she fetishizes the idea of blackness. And clearly I thought that shit was fine because at least I got to fuck her. Is just that's bananas to me.
when she said that to me, I was thinking, what?
That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't react the way I'm reacting now.
Yeah.
That's her issue. That's her
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
I'll let her deal with that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You just want that nut.
I just wanted that sweet walls. I've got them walls pre and post. Crazy.
So yeah, they dapped up off of that shit. So yeah, I hadn't seen that clip before we did our show.
Mm-mm.
And I'm looking at the date on that tweet. It's from after we did our show. So how could I know that? Unless, like, did you see it before or did you see it after? Or y'all been keeping the catalog of these niggas? I don't know these niggas like that. They also have a clip of Andrew Schultz on his own podcast being, and this is so funny, but basically being checked by Andrew Gillis. Andrew Gillis is to me, a very funny comedian. He had a really good special. But the thing about Andrew Gillis that most people will remember is Andrew Gillis is the guy who got canceled, quote unquote. He was going to be on SNL, and then clips of his podcast started going viral of him making jokes about Asian people.
Right, so he didn't get it. Then
he didn't get it because Bowen Yang was also in that same cast announcement. And it was like, y'all gonna introduce this Asian cast member, which Bowen Yang may have been the first Asian person, I don't remember. But it was like, y'all gonna introduce an Asian man and a guy that did a podcast making a couple episodes or a couple minutes making jokes about Asian people. And it just got so mad and outrageous or whatever that he ended up taking his name out of the consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane Gillis never ended up being on that. What is interesting about Shane Gillis, I have friends that are comedians that are like, yo, he's actually a really cool dude, blah, blah, blah. I say, I don't know this nigga. I don't have no dog in this fight. Clearly, I see why they didn't want to bring him or why he wouldn't want to be on. It's too fucking awkward. People, you can take a clip from a podcast. We've done 1,000 episodes. I'm sure you can take a clip from our podcast and find something. Like, it's not, this is not, it's child's play. You can just, even if it's out of context or in context, there's just going to be a moment or something that we did something wrong, and you can take it and put it somewhere else and be like, see, and you'll be right. Right. So I'm not saying that Andrew Schultz is a racist, blah, 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 but his first introduction to me, to the zeitgeist that I'm in is, oh, he made a racist joke about Asian people. Okay. It's funny how fast shit turns, because now they're upholding him as some sort of example of how these brothers should have acted on Andrew Schultz's podcast, where Andrew Schultz was trying to be offensive.
And didn't he also go on the Joe Rogan show and he was telling
he told Joe Rogan, I'm not a victim.
Because Joe Rogan was trying to pull that shit out, and he was like, nah, dog, like, I understand they was right. I ain't had no, and he was basically, he didn't say it, he was like, I'm white, I will be just fine.
This is a great example to go back to that comment on our YouTube. This is what I'm talking about. I give Shane Gillis grace, because everything I've seen since that first introductory clip from his podcast where people was like, fuck this guy, he ain't shit, he's terrible, he's made offensive jokes before, and I was like, damn, I guess he ain't shit. Everything I've seen from him since has either been funny, like his stand-up was, to me, was very funny, or it's been thoughtful. And so to me, I'm like, maybe he just fucked up. Maybe he was searching for the joke and fucked up with that. But for all this, you don't offer anybody grace like black men. I offer a lot of people fucking grace. Yes, even people with like this, where I'm like, I don't know, might be a conservative comedian. I don't know. I'm not like in his camp. But just other stuff I've seen, and for the record, he went on to be bigger and better without SNL. He started his own YouTube channel. He did like his own sketch shows on there, and I've seen some of those sketches, and they're pretty fucking hilarious. And he's one of those comedians that's more about the joke than he is about being right or pandering, which is just rare now. Either you pander to the right, you pander to the left. But there's just so many comedians that just gave up on like, I just think this is funny. And in the sacred space of the stage,
right,
you have to understand I'm trying to create something, and the understanding is we're both trying to find something to laugh at, as opposed to I'm trying to find a way to offend you, or I'm trying to find a way to pander to you. So I kind of enjoyed his comedy after this, which is just very ironic. But anyway, Shane Gillis goes on there, 2022 apparently, and the context of this clip that is important that I want to tell people before I hit play. Shane Gillis is made at this point. He not like these niggas shits and giggles. Shane Gillis probably got more money than everybody in that room at that point. So for him, he ain't even got to do the like, man, I just need to get along with this dude. Hopefully I can raise my platform, spread the word. It's like, man, I don't think this shit funny. Boom. And it wasn't even that, like, when y'all play this, it's not even a huge confrontation. It's just I don't think that shit's funny.
Nice. You guys, and you know what?
That's his rival's profile picture.
So what they did, Andrew Schultz's crew went and found some people, I believe, on the spectrum or something, or with Down syndrome or something. They put them on the screen to show Sean Gillis and be like, oh, we found your TikTok. Isn't this you? And the joke is supposed to be, this person has Down syndrome and you look like you got Down syndrome.
Oh, no.
Can we click the video? I just want to hear the sound. I just want to hear the sound.
It's a Sue. It's a...
Nah, you look great, dog. Congrats.
I don't think that's funny.
But yeah, I see that. I see why.
Like, you don't get it, you mean?
Yeah.
But that's not me, so
yeah,
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't get the joke. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's okay, dude. It's okay.
Not convinced yet? We'll take a look at this next bit then.
Dude, I was watching your TikTok account.
What's that? Which one?
That's better.
Yeah.
That was better.
The Gillian Keefe?
That was better. No, your personal TikTok.
I swear to God, I don't have one.
Also, you sounded 38 when you said that. That was great.
Yeah, your TikTok
account is also
your account.
Yeah.
Your account on TikTok. Yeah, I was watching it.
I swear to God,
well, maybe somebody's doing an account with you on TikTok.
What is it?
I mean, it's
doing?
Hilarious.
Are you doing moves?
It's you doing dance moves.
Are you trying to find a guy with Down syndrome doing TikTok? Is that what you're trying to do?
I didn't say that at all. I meant search it.
It is going to be good.
GillianKeys.tv, dude.
There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot to go through.
Down syndrome dudes love TikTok.
So they found a dude with Down syndrome dancing on TikTok, and basically the whole gag is you look like you have Down syndrome. That's supposed to be like an insult to Sean Gillis, basically by saying, you know, Down syndrome people look fucked up, and this is how you look.
My guy's nice.
By the way,
that's wow.
These guys are awesome.
Yeah,
they're having fun.
Yeah,
for you guys to sit here and be like,
wait a minute,
let's bring it up and mock them. That's up, dude. That's a dude. By using them as an insult.
We're using you.
So you're insulting them by saying I look like them, or you're insulting me by saying I look like them.
This is you back in your victim thing.
No.
So now Schultz tries to throw, this is very coded for a conservative white constituency, the Joe Rogans. So what he's trying to do is intimidate and peer pressure Sean Gillis out of his morally correct stance by saying, oh, you want to be a victim right now. Now, Sean is not saying he's a victim. If you pay attention to what he's saying y'all are victimizing these people who put up this TikTok and mocking that they have Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. And you're trying, I'm not saying I'm offended because I'm not offended. Like, you want me to be like, why would you say that about me? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not funny what y'all are doing, picking on these people. That's it. And for the record, I'm sure they probably finished the podcast. I'm sure he didn't walk off. No one got punched in the face. But this is what I was talking about with Chris and you on Sunday. When I'm a guest on podcast, sometimes I can be a bit of a fucking downer.
Yeah, you have to kill the joke. You have to be like, we're not going to do this, right?
Because I do still think of, still empathic, and I still think about people and shit, even when it's not about me. Even when it's like, well, this joke shouldn't hurt your feelings. You're not in this group. Well, I actually don't think it's cool that you just said that about gay men or whatever. I actually don't want to make that joke. You know, when everybody was doing the no Diddy jokes, and the whole joke was just, this is a new way of saying no homo, which is another way. Yeah.
Okay.
You were here for this anyway. It's another way of saying essentially what is funny about any of the stuff with Diddy is that he's gay,
right?
Secretly gay.
That's not
and
funny.
that being gay is bad and shameful.
Correct.
To the point where we're not talking about sexual assault. We're not talking about sex trafficking. We're not talking about drugging people. We're not talking about raping people without, like taking away people's ability to consent. We're not talking about domestic violence, physical abuse. What's funny about Diddy? Oh, he had sex with men. He might have sex with Meek Mill. Ha 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 ha. That's why I don't glom onto this 50 Cent. 50 Cent said something about it. I guess he was right. No, he only thought it was funny to say Puff Daddy was gay. That's what he thought was funny. Now, maybe he'll flip it into some lucrative shit with this documentary, but at the end of the day, the first and foremost thing he wanted us to know about Puff Daddy is he might secretly be gay. And that's what a vast majority of these niggas are commenting about him are saying. It's not really about right and wrong there. And so it can make me a bit of a downer. I go on certain shows and when they feel like having me on, if they have me back, it's like
have you back.
Niggas be on their P's and Q's, and it's not that I want them to be, but it's like I am. So he kind of killed the vibe, but honestly, it's worth killing.
Yes, it is.
No, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying the jokes you're doing it's not like
it's not PC.
That's not cool.
You know what's really triggering?
You're making fun of these guys, these Down syndrome dudes putting out TikTok videos.
Right. Now, like I said, I haven't seen the rest of the clip and all this shit. But yeah, and then I'm definitely not playing all this because it's 13 minutes long. But Andrew Schultz apparently made fun of ShxtsXGigs apology.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
You helped that scorpion cross the river.
Of course, that makes 100% sense.
Mm-hmm. He helped that scorpion cross the motherfucking river, dog.
Right, because he don't give a fuck about y'all.
Yep. So it's very funny to see how shit happens. Look, the thing, and like I said, I still stand by my original stance. These dudes went on Andrew Schultz's show. They didn't care that their brands didn't combine. They thought it was a come up. They thought it was a flex. They thought we'll just go in. I don't want to speak in too definitive terms about them, but I'll say the impression that these clips have left me with is that these dudes are not that sharp. They're not that principled. They're not that intelligent. They're not that savvy. There's some go along to get along vibes guys, and vibes sell podcasts. Vibes are good.
Yes, vibes are good.
Y'all love when I'm high as fuck on this show and I can't do all this analytic talking and shit. Y'all love vibes, make good laughs. Okay, some of the best podcasts I've listened to, I cannot and would not be able to truly say I agree with these motherfuckers, but I'd be like, that shit was funny though. They did do an hour and a half of just vibing and it was cool. But if I sat down and started talking to them about some real shit, I don't think these motherfuckers had the intellectual capacity or rigor to withstand that. Like, but everything has its place.
Yes, it does.
I don't go to a stand-up show expecting, like I might agree with a lot of Bill Maher's politics, but I wouldn't go to a stand-up show because I don't find them to be very funny. You know what I mean? So I do understand there's a line, and they went on we just trying to have good vibes and be funny. I don't think look, I don't know these niggas, but I don't think they went there with the like, can't wait for Andrew Schultz to shit on black women and for us to be there for it.
Right. They did not know. Like, you can tell that they were not prepared. Like, they didn't do their research like they should have.
Because they didn't even join in, which is like another telltale sign that they was just uncomfortable.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean they love or cherish black women, but they know that's a third rail for their audience, which is like, we shouldn't be saying shit.
Right. And they even said they just want to hear move on. Say move on. Move on. We're not talking about this no more.
So it's easy for me to believe that that's what happened on that show. And so I stand by everything I said. But go back and re-listen, because I don't think I gave them any grace that I wouldn't give to anyone else, period. All right, but I need to get that off my chest because I didn't want to wait till Saturday to do this segment because I was just like, no, I hate when people do this to me. Like, it's one of my pet peeves is like, nigga, you're not talking about me. I don't know who did this.
Yeah, I don't know who did this.
And whoever did that,
not me.
Go get their ass.
Right.
But that ain't I think too fucking much about this show and what it's gonna be for us to ever get caught up with the rest of these niggas doing these subpar, mediocre ass, copy whatever Black Twitter is saying ass shows. No, that's not our show. And I'm totally fine standing on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I understand people want to vent and things like this, but you have to understand we're reading your words. So when we're reading your words, you're not actually here, so we don't hear like your voice and things like that.
That comment would have been so perfectly fine with me if it just didn't say you. Just take out the you, and I'm like, I agree on everything you said. Like, a lot of these podcasts do this. A lot of shows give these guys grace that they wouldn't give somebody else. I would totally agree. It's just once you threw us in there, I'm like, nope, because I'm intentional. And I make sure that we don't do that. And we don't let motherfuckers on here that do that. I ain't calling it a safe space, but people are considered here. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm too fucking proud of that. Okay? I'm too proud of that for me to let you lump me in. And I'm not gonna ever pander or do, because the pandering thing to do would be like, you know what, sister, you right. We as black men got to do better. Da 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 da. No, nigga, I'm doing pretty well. That's like, it is what it is. I ain't perfect, but 0 people are perfect. You can listen to a show that's just nothing but black women on it, and you're gonna find something you don't agree with or you wish they went harder on.
Yes, sir.
And the last thing I'll make before we move on is this. We also never told anyone how to feel. And we do a pretty good job of not doing that. So that if you feel like you need to be harder than we went, feel free.
Yeah, you got the right to.
I'm not going to stop you. Start your own podcast. Shit on these niggas. I would not begrudge you. I wouldn't play a clip of you and be like, I can't believe this. Sister shitting on brothers. Like, I don't do that shit. So feel free to hate these niggas. I don't want you to think I'm slowing your roll.
Oh, no. Have a ball. Have a good time. You entitled to your opinion. We are not a cult, so we do not dictate how you feel.
Yeah. I enjoy that, sis. Mo life. All right. Let's talk about some other niggas fucking up. So Faison Love, he's been really big on this thing about black men need some sort of child support like legislation to stop us from having to pay child support. And he's turned it into like a black man issue, an issue with Kamala Harris. Like, what is black men getting from your administration? We need to not pay child support. Take care of your motherfucking kids, nigga.
Take care of your kids.
Yeah, I won't even say the stuff I've heard behind the scenes about his personal child support situation. But it's not, I'll put it this way. You wouldn't be surprised he had this opinion. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he's turned that into his thing. But of course, people are now commenting, because it's that time. People are now commenting on the Diddy shit. So we got to talk about the motherfuckers out here dipping their toes into the water with the Diddy shit.
He Diddy be wanting the body, and you got to tell him no.
Psycho.
So he chimed in about Diddy. Y'all might get an echo from this. Actually, let me turn off this and then share my screen so that y'all don't get an echo. But yeah, this is him on Instagram talking about Diddy. Okay.
We all heard about Puffy, and I see a lot of people. Yay. I'm confused. The Cassie thing, I understand. I think you should definitely lock this nigga up.
Do you understand the Cassie thing, or is it that now that there's a video, you have no choice? Because I don't know. I don't know. But definitely feels like if I look in your feed before the Cassie video, I'd either find silence or some sort of defense of Diddy. But that's just me. Some motherfuckers got to see it in 4K. Can't just look at all the surrounding copious amounts of suspicious shit and be like, maybe something bad happened to that lady. But okay.
Put hands on the young lady. But I don't understand the other shit. Can y'all help me?
His stomach growl.
I'm about to say, is you hungry? You need a snack? Like his stomach growl, like, I told you to feed me at 12:30. You fucking around, nigga.
Maybe that's the problem, is that he need a Snickers.
Yes.
He's like, no, you not yourself when you don't have that Snickers.
When has being nasty been a federal crime?
Oh, it's more than that, boo-boo.
And I'm glad they told me. I didn't know there was a limit on baby oil. I'm getting a few, because we get ashy, but you get a massage or something or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Please tell us the new rules for niggas, because maybe they're not new rules actually. Because I think it was 1800s. There was this very famous boxer named
Jack Johnson. He got to act like this shit is the same as Jack Johnson and the sex trafficking case against him, which was clearly about racism. Now, the what is interesting about this is we know the women that we do know, many of them are black. So this isn't the white man taking down Diddy for fucking his white women. You see what I'm saying? Like this whole, and this is what they did with Cosby. This is what motherfuckers do with anybody that they're like, I gotta find a way to defend this guy because I liked the music they made. It started with this. R. Kelly, same shit. It's because he a black man. And the black women that were the victims, are they not black anymore?
Jack Johnson. And he was whooping ass. Everybody ass. But mostly white folks ass. He was whooping a lot of white folks ass. And he had a white woman, Mae West. They couldn't stop this black man. So they gave him trafficking. In the 1800s, taking a white woman across the lines was... If he didn't do that, he wouldn't have stopped. Box.
This is egregiously stupid. Egregiously stupid. Like he oversimplified this so fucking much. And I know so many brothers that think like this and will be making excuses and shit. And as far as that's all he did, nigga, you could go read the 15-page indictment. No one's stopping you. Mm-hmm. You could actually just read an article that highlights some of the stuff in the 15-page indictment. You're purposely playing ignorant. Now, if all of this was so you could get the baby oil joke off, I wouldn't have even said shit, to be honest, because I'm like, he's a comedian. That's what he thinks is funny. Right. I know a lot of motherfuckers that did baby oil jokes, and I just was like, okay, and just moved on, not offended, just kind of a hack joke, but whatever. But nah, he really tried to turn this into like, what are they doing to black men? Our brothers. It's like you can't even drug and rape nobody no more, man. What next? I'm sure the next stop is, what about Weinstein? You mean the motherfucker in jail? That one? Like, what are we doing? What are you defending? Are you think you taking up for me as a black man? I can't. Oh man, we just can't help ourselves. Now they coming up with laws to stop it.
I told you that we won't. Make it make sense. We need to know the new rules.
This nigga's he's gone. He's gone. So yeah, he came out in defense of Diddy. Boosie, who honestly, if Lil Boosie's in your corner, change corners.
Please reconsider.
Lil Boosie in your corner, you on the wrong corner.
Find a new corner.
So he went on Twitter in all caps basically and said, I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done, flew bitches out for threesomes. Once again, niggas can't read a fucking indictment.
Right.
The indictment is right there. He just freakier. We actually go call women prostitutes who fly in willingly to be with their partners for sex. If that's the case, if you've been flued out and had sex, you should be labeled a prostitute. Now it's just about being mad at the women.
Right. And the special word was willingly.
Willingly.
Yeah, that's the magical word.
Imagine this. Somebody's willing to have sex with you. And close your eyes and think you are Diddy, you're somebody famous. And it's like, oh man, one of the perks of being famous is that women want to fuck me. How many of y'all in your dream scenario where you close your eyes and the women came over and it was time for sex, how many of y'all was like, now let me just make sure I drug all the juice and offer them drinks so that they pass out? Which part of the fantasy is that for you?
Right.
Because that is what is always left out. They did the same thing with Cosby. Oh, he was just fucking some groupies. So he made them pass the fuck out?
Right, and they couldn't remember.
Listen, we have met and known and seen many a famous person that fucked a lot of women that they either wasn't supposed to fuck or they just was out of pocket fucking, like Tiger Woods. You know what we never got back from a Tiger Woods thing was he was out here drugging women and sexually assaulting them.
Right.
He was just like, oh, he threw it all away because he was just out here fucking everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But none of us ever questioned that. The police didn't get involved. He didn't go to jail. The feds weren't throwing a trial at him because you can do that because it's legal and no one's going to put a police report out for some shit like that.
Right.
But now we up to like however many women it is with Diddy and Cosby and R. Kelly and Weinstein. At some point, you have to be like, now, why the fuck is it you? When Darren Sharper has 12 women being like, he drugged us and sexually assaulted us. How the fuck do you get that? I guess it's new rules for niggas. He says, it should be like, if that's the case, that's 80% of women reading this. And trafficking, hashtag hell nah. You're a celebrity. You got to fly pussy in. How else you gonna get the pussy? You never in one place. When I saw that video, I was pissed off at this nigga like he really got a problem. But facing the light, so once again, once the video of Cassie comes out, they try to separate that. And I think at the end of the day, what they really trying to say is that the Cassie thing, in my opinion, they're willing to admit to, not just because of the evidence is obvious, but it's because he couldn't get in trouble for that. Remember, it was past statute of limitations.
Yup.
So I think he says stuff like that to be like they're like, listen, I acknowledge the Cassie thing because there's no harm in it. Like he was still getting to be Diddy after the Cassie shit. He was free. He was being, he was in places, taking pictures, doing videos. Everything was fine. But this new shit, they gonna put him in jail. Well, now that's not fair. You're never in one place. When I saw that video, I was pissed off at this nigga like he really got a problem. But facing life in prison, in quotes, for basically doing basically what so many other entertainers has done. Hashtag I disagree.
Are you out here raping people? Are you?
Because you gotta wonder.
I'm not trying to find it because you're defending a rapist, and this is the type of shit that women and people that are victimized look at people that say this shit, go, well, are you rapists? I'm not. But then what the fuck are you defending then? I don't understand.
Let me ask you this, Boosie. How come you ain't up on charges? You just said you did all this stuff. If you did exactly what Diddy said, where are the charges?
Right.
Or and this is the most charitable version I can think. Or you don't do what Diddy did, and many men do this, by the way. You don't do what that person did because you know it's wrong.
Right.
But you defend it like it's right.
Yes.
I see this happen from so many people, and it definitely makes me look at you sideways. When people try to, well, look, he couldn't have raped all the women or whatever, like whatever thing it is, I'm like, why do you even want to align with that? Like, what is it inside of you? Is you hate women too? Like, what is it that'll make you start making the case? Because if anyone I was around or heard of had the things that are alleged to be done to these women, and if they had said so-and-so did those things to me, I'm not going to be there like, well, man, a lot of these dudes fly women out. No, you told me you were drugged and sexually assaulted. There's no gray area for me. But I know for a lot of dudes it is. I'm starting to feel like this sex trafficking for it, which is in quotes, sex trafficking, for flying bitches in, for threesomes will be a tool used to take down hip hop artists and celebrities. Just think about it. Who flying they yeahs in to turn up? Who always in a different city and got a fly pussy to them? Who ain't tripping and go give their sex partner a little change? Think about it. This shit real. If you fly a chick in, y'all turn up and you give her a little change so she's straight. When she go home, that's hashtag sex trafficking. Hashtag rappers, athletes, D-boys, politicians. Be careful who you flying.
You don't know what sex trafficking is because the biggest thing was willingly. Out of everything you said,
they wouldn't even take the time to prosecute a case like that.
Right.
They wouldn't even be able to find you guilty because if a woman willingly flew in to have sex with you, no one's going to fucking find you guilty. Period. They would not waste the time. This isn't 1800s.
Right.
These niggas are sick. Like, this shit is a sickness. Like, the loyalty to your affinity group, which is in this case black men to black men, is really a fucking sickness. Because it'll let you let a wolf into your den just to be like, hey man, they a black man wolf. This nigga is bad.
Right.
What are you even debating about? What is this rant about? Who is this for?
Right. And it doesn't make any sense. And I'm not trying to be funny. I realize a lot of this shit boils down to gender wars at the end of the day. And people have their gender wars where they pick their sides, and anything that happens to that particular gender, everybody comes out with their pitchforks on whatever side they were on, regardless of if it makes sense. Because if you quote unquote give something up, you're quote unquote losing this war. I mean, it's all fucking stupid to me, but you're losing this war, so you can't dare say that the other side, quote unquote, these bitches is winning. However else you put it, type of thing, and it's ridiculous. And anybody on the outside looking in would go, "This is stupid."
And even in his words, it doesn't make sense logically because think of what he's saying. We do this all the time. This is gonna be a tool to take us down, right? You do this all the time. They not taking you down.
Right.
You saying everybody's doing it. Everyone's not going down. What could it be about Diddy that they're taking him down? Did you consider reading the fucking indictment? Did you read the Rolling Stone piece? No. Because you don't want to hear anything that sounds like the truth that would push your fictionalized version of events out.
Right.
So you can and of course it doesn't. I'm not surprised by Boosie. Boosie's the same dude that was like, they taking little boys and cutting their dicks off to make them trans. And it's like, where, Boosie? Name one.
Right.
Right. You're not a smart person, and you may have a big platform, but that doesn't mean you're informed or responsible with it. And as Miss Smart aptly brings up in the chat room, and why we choose to bear. Right. And that's why you ain't never heard us get mad about that shit on here. Cause I'm like, I get it. This shit is dangerous. Cause to me, what's worse than a person that is not participating in this shit and still defends it? That's almost as bad as the person who did it. It's not as bad, but it's almost as bad to me. Cause you had a mentality to excuse it.
Right. And it's also one of them things in every situation is always a quote unquote exceptions to the rules. Well, the person you defending is not they are the person that's the exception the other way. They're the extremist. And you want to defend the exception to the rule that, got accused and really didn't do it. Well, this person did it up teen amount of times. Why is that person getting the same defense as the other person? Like, it doesn't make sense.
And you know what's funny? Be the same people that will be like, why these women didn't come forward? How come you waited so long? Because of niggas like you. This the environment. This is why I said I'm not so keen on like coming down on everybody that had some knowledge that, or just whatever, like some inkling like, yo, Diddy might have been doing some wild shit. Or, hey man, I was at a party and it got crazy and I left because I don't know what the fuck Diddy be doing. I'm not even coming down on them because look at this shit.
Right.
This is the world. The world isn't Twitter where everybody's like super liberal and progressive and like, yes, we need to lock them up. Way too many women have been silenced. Way too many women have been threatened. Way too many women have lost cases. Way too many women have been slut shamed in the courtroom for me to be like, yeah, man, you just got to say it. Everyone sees what's happening. Everyone, like when people were talking about Usher, I'm like, I can see a case for why you as Usher could witness this shit and be like, I'm just going to stop hanging out with Diddy and never be like, I'm gonna go to court, I'm gonna go to the police, I'm gonna do this. He's bombing people's cars.
I'm good, homie.
There are rappers dead and people are saying he put the hit on them.
Right.
I'm gonna just mind my business. And that's how the shit continues.
Right. And like I said yesterday, everybody big and bad online and on social media and shit. And then they chats. But bitch, if it was you, and like you had to make a real life decision, most people would make the decision of I'm getting away and I'm not saying shit.
Yeah, most motherfuckers don't even have the balls to be like, hey man, that thing you said on that podcast was kind of fucked up. So they definitely not gonna step up to nobody they think is a fucking crime lord.
Right.
Diddy made a bizarre promise to the judge in his sex trafficking case, saying he will have no female visitors if he was released on bail following his arrest. He's now been denied bail twice.
Oh, and he's not going to get it. They're going to be like, nope.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. You have been accused of intimidating people. They are like, we would not let you out for you to go and try to find out who these people are. Like, we're not dealing with this, sir. Stay your ass in jail.
A former warden says that Diddy is gonna be in danger inside a New York jail. Basically saying there's people that are gonna wanna like get him.
He probably separated from the population.
Yeah. It's ex-MDC warden Cameron Lindsay, Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. And he said some of the more violent inmates would even consider killing Combs a badge of honor. So I think this is also, I mean, it might be true, but it's also just like that's why he need to be out on bail. It's like, and what about the people that would be under threat if he's out? Interesting. All right. Let's talk about some Kamala Harris news.
You're running against Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. This former president, we're not going past. This former president, we're not going past. This former president, we're not going past. So let's be clear about that. You're running against me.
Kamala Harris.
Shout out to Isabalu. Couple articles about Kamala Harris and what's going on in the election. Russia goes all out with covert disinformation aimed at Harris, according to a Microsoft report.
Like they did first time she ran. Out of everybody, she didn't even win. And out of everybody that was out there, they was like, we're going to go after her more than anybody fucking else. This was their whole goddamn thing. They do not want her to be president because if she is, she's gonna be in they asses and they know it.
Had y'all out here calling her a cop and shit. I know a lot of people fell for it. Don't take much.
Mm-mm.
A little bit of bending of the facts. And this one, they found they really went in with it. They put up a social media video that featured a young black woman, because they always gonna go black, because that's what fools most of y'all. Is they come from a black person. It's like, well, I can't. White people, of course, on the left will be like, yeah, I can't disbelieve a black person, and of course, black people will be like, rage, black rage. I don't need no fucking critical thought or research. I'm gonna just run with this. But it's not working right now because I feel like people, one, we went through this before. Two, Trump is an existential threat. Three, none of us trust social media anymore. So it's much harder to lie about us in this moment than it would have ever been before.
Right.
But it was a black woman in a video claiming she was left paralyzed in a hit and run accident in San Francisco 13 years ago. And basically insinuates that her childhood ended too soon. She can't remain silent anymore because it's Kamala Harris that did it. The purported news channel that it came from does not exist. A website for the channel set up just a week earlier contained plagiarized articles from real news outlets. The woman's x-ray images shown in the video were taken from online medical journals, and the video and the text story on the website spelled the alleged victim's name wrong. Yeah, shout out to Microsoft. I saw there's also the dude that used to own Microsoft that, or maybe he still does, I don't know, run Microsoft, but he owns the Clippers now. That he's like starting a fact-based like paper, like a news outlet, because he's just like, shit has just gotten too ridiculous, and I hope it works out because we need something.
Right.
The Tech Giants report released Tuesday details how Kremlin-aligned actors that at first struggled to adapt to President Joe Biden dropping out of the race have now gone full throttle in their covert influence efforts against Harris and the Democrats. It also explains how Russian intelligence actors are collaborating with pro-Russian cyber hacktivists to boost alleged hacked and leaked materials, and strategy the company notes will be weaponized to undermine U.S. confidence in November's election outcome.
Yeah, and it's also one of these things where people need to be very, very, very vigilant. The closer we get to election, be really, really aware of the stories that start coming out about anybody Democrat. Be really aware about the stories that start coming out about Kamala, her running mate, and all that stuff. Please, please, please be aware. And also, it's one of those things where you need to be aware that it's all outrage based. Because they know the number one thing to get this country to crack-a-lacking is race.
Yeah, it's
we are
so
like
funny.
A powder keg when it comes to that.
And it's so funny how it's never pointed at Republicans. There's never any Trump disinformation that they're spreading to try to like get us. There's no JD Vance misinformation. There's people that made a joke about the couch thing, but that's not Russia.
Right.
That's just people being trolls. It's just interesting. They're not weaponizing this shit against them. So yeah, that is a huge thing. Also, Teamsters, the Teamsters union. Now, remember the union president of the Teamsters gave a talk at the RNC.
Yeah, they one of the big unions.
They're a big union. Trump is 100% anti-union.
Yes, he is.
He was there shucking and jiving for them and complaining about the Democrats who have done nothing but help them. As a matter of fact, it was the Biden-Harris administration that saved that union's pensions recently, meaning they were going to lose out on their pensions, and they intervened. Well, now close to 60% of the members who participate in an electronic poll say they are going to support Trump, compared to just 34% who back Harris. Yeah, racism is crazy.
It is a hell of a drug. I do not think people understand the highest of the high of the height that you get from that drug unless you can get on it. And once you get on it, you can't stop snorting. You just can't. And you will do anything it takes to get another hit.
Biden was up when it was him, 46 to 37%. Every other demographic, when it switched to Harris, pretty much jumped into her favor. These motherfuckers jumped the opposite way. What could it fucking be? What could it fucking be? Now, they didn't put out details about this poll, like how many members it was, any of the demographics. So this could just be like some bullshit where they talked to 100 people and said it was a straw poll. I don't know. But it's still damning either way. Not damning in like for her prospects as a candidate to me. It's more damning to just how strong racism has a hold on people, because I can't think of any other reason. There's no substantial reason why they would be less pro Democrat for her than they were for Biden.
Right. Is racism and white supremacy is irrational. It's illogical. It does things that would not actually benefit the individual. It's just about keeping that thing alive, whatever that thing is. Even if you lose money, even if you lose family members, even if you lose social status, you don't care. And you will use any excuse in the book to justify the decision and the choice that you've made, because the drug is so goddamn good to you that there's no way you would let it go. And you call everybody, you act like everybody else is a lunatic that's not on the drug with you.
Americans can now renew their passports online.
Bitch, let's go.
Bypassing the cumbersome mail-in paper application process that often causes delays. The State Department announced Wednesday that its online renewal system is now fully operational after testing in pilot programs and available to adult passport holders whose passport has expired within the past 5 years or will expire in the coming year. It is not available for the renewal of children's passports, for first-time passport applicants, for renewal applicants who live outside the U.S., or for expedited applications. Still, that's pretty dope.
Yes, because it's convenient. I don't know when mine expire, but I'm gonna start checking, and when it comes, I'll do this. Because yeah, it's such a tedious process to get your passport. That's why I was like, when you was like, get the real ID, I was like, bitch, I got a passport. I don't need no real ID.
Now I want to allow for an olive branch to my man, Mr. Span. Okay, I know he listens and gets very upset when I do stuff like say, oh, Apple patented this thing. They're making their AirPods and the hearing aids, and that's good for everybody. And technically, even with an Android phone, if you hook it up to some Apple AirPods, you should be able to use it as a hearing aid, right?
Yes.
It's just a mode on the equipment. So it's good for everybody. I celebrate that. I don't mock people. I don't go, oh, Androids can't do that. I go, good. Because when I see something good that I have for my phone, I want everyone to have it. But that's just me. I don't mock them for being second or not getting it for a few years. I'm happy to welcome them into the fold. Well, Google Wallet is about to make traveling much smoother with a new beta feature that allows you to create a digital ID from your U.S. passport.
Bitch, let's go.
It means you can use your digital ID at select TSA checkpoints when flying domestically. Open your Google Wallet app, choose create an ID pass with your U.S. passport option, then scan the security chip in your passport and verify your identity with a selfie video. Google says it usually takes a few minutes for your ID pass to be ready. And while they're rolling out the feature, Apple hasn't announced anything similar for its digital wallet yet. Now, if and when we get this for Apple products, I would hope my dear brother, Mr. Span, would welcome us with a kind message into the fold. Like, yo, I'm happy y'all got this too. Isn't it cool?
Right.
We've had this for a while and now y'all have it. Welcome to the group. That's what I would like to hope, but you know, it's probably just gonna be on my page saying something salty and mean. Also, in the coming months, IDs or driver licenses issued in Iowa, New Mexico, and Ohio will also be able to be stored in the Google Wallet.
Now, let's go.
Shout out to that.
Right.
I love technology.
Me too.
Instagram is making teen accounts private as pressure mounts on the app to protect children.
Yeah, they doing this before the federal government come in and start cracking down on shit.
Right.
This is and that's the thing. Y'all be aware. If all of a sudden they start doing this shit, this is bullshit that y'all could have did a long time ago. Y'all could have already implemented this. You could have already gave all these parental guides. You could have already made kids shit private. You could have already filtered out words that won't show up on accounts or filter out accounts that your kids can't see if they under. So you could have already done all of this bullshit. You're like, let me punish me, mama, before you come in and whoop my ass. That's what this is telling me.
Yeah, beginning Tuesday in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia, anyone under 18 who signs up for Instagram will be placed into restrictive teen accounts, and those who with existing accounts will be migrated over the next 60 days. Teens in the European Union will see their accounts adjusted later this year. So basically, it'll make it private by default. Private messages are restricted, so teens can only receive them from people they follow or already connected to. Sensitive content, such as videos of people fighting or promoting cosmetic procedures, will be limited. Teens will also get notifications if they're on Instagram for more than 60 minutes, and a sleep mode will be enabled that turns off notifications and sends auto replies to direct messages from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Good.
Yeah, it's all stuff people could have been done.
Yes, sir.
While these settings will be turned on for all teens, 16 and 17-year-olds will be able to turn them off. Kids under 16 will need their parents' permission to do so. I'm sure there's a way around it, but
of course, you're right.
And I think you nailed it, Karen. That's just trying to get ahead of the cops.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to get ahead because they're like, let us go ahead and do it because we know when y'all do it, y'all gonna fuck up the product and we're gonna have to turn around and revamp everything because y'all gonna come in real heavy-handed.
Skyn condoms will refund you if their latest release doesn't blow your mind.
What?
Skyn Supreme Feel is the new condom designed for ultimate pleasure. After a little research, Skyn discovered that one in 3 sexually active Americans are less than thrilled with their bedroom shenanigans. And brace yourself, 1 in 6 has never been happy with the sex they're having. So now they got Supreme Feel, Skyn's bold attempt at changing the pleasure game. And they're not just talking big. Skyn is so sure about this thinnest condom yet, they're offering a money-back guarantee for anyone who isn't completely satisfied, no questions asked.
Okay.
They're non-latex lubricated condoms.
Okay, yeah,
From September 17th to December 16th, if you buy Skyn Supreme Feel and don't have amazing sex, we'll give you your money back. You don't even need to give details about why the sex wasn't amazing.
Bold move,
Just go to skynfeel.com/guarantee, fill out a quick form, and they'll send your refund straight to your Venmo or PayPal. No explanation necessary. And this comes off the heels of their special edition $100 Supreme Feel condom. A 10-pack of luxury condoms housed in a velvet box with gold and black wrappers. 100. So I had to buy $100 condoms and then report back and be like, it wasn't the greatest sex I ever had. It wasn't amazing. I would like my 100. I can see how they could put this guarantee out. A lot of people are not going to spend $100 on a box of condoms.
No, they're not.
Regardless.
But
I do like this idea. I just feel like people are going to be like, have you ever felt raw sex? Because this was not better than that. No, it's just kind of the default for a condom. There's no offense to it. I mean, raw sex is why all of us who are here.
Right.
Because it feels too good.
Or the condom broke.
Not all of us were a smart choice. Okay.
Nope. We're not a smart decision.
Not all of us. If you really think about it, having kids is rarely a smart decision. It might be a decision you thought about and planned out, but it doesn't necessarily make it smart.
Right.
They cost a lot. They don't do what the fuck you say. And you just got to hope they're not one of these crazy motherfuckers. Okay?
Hope that girl to be a decent person.
Planet's overpopulated. Global warming is killing us all because we won't stop producing a bunch of bullshit. Adding to this problem with more children, not necessarily the most logical step, but it just feels so good. Do you know the end? That crazy feeling? That's why we're here. So I got a feeling that Skyn condoms is not gonna outdo that. Okay, I'm sorry. The condom's never gonna feel better than the cream pie. What it will feel better than is having a child or an STD. That's what it feels better than. So it's all relative. But you really gotta hope that people aren't
it's much cheaper. And that $100 is much cheaper than the kid.
Yeah, you really gotta hope that people aren't like, I stuck it in with the condom, and then I stuck it in without the condom. And honestly, I want my money back.
You gonna want your money back every time, then. What are we talking about?
It was 5 out of 5, no notes. Okay. Would recommend, would try again. The condom, even if it's a 4.9, it's not a 5.
And not a 5.
All right, let's get out of here on some sort of ratchetness. Hopefully you stuck around till we got to something silly. Here we go. All right. We go to YouTube for this one.
Okay.
Let me check my settings again. Okay, share my screen. Oh wait, I gotta click on something first. And then I think that'll save it. Sorry, everybody. I got ahead of myself with the clicking. Clicked on the wrong shit. All right, now I can share my screen. A man reports robbery by gun and sword wielding suspects.
Oh no!
They want to be extra sure.
He was just robbed. Hold on one moment, sir. He was robbed at 1301 St. Paul Street.
That call came in from the city's Central District just before 2 a.m. September 16th. A man told police he was robbed by a group of males in a white SUV here on St. Paul Street.
It's like a white type of SUV type vehicle.
Their reported weapons, quick to capture your attention.
And from my understanding, it was more than 5 people. One had a sword and one had a Glock.
The description and MO appear to sound familiar to dispatch.
He was going to look out for a white van with unknown tag, involved in at least 2 to 3 robberies so far. Units of special attention to your district.
Investigators are also able to put out a license plate number.
There's going to be 5 to 6 black males driving in a white Honda CRV. I have the tag when you're ready. Tag is going to be 5 Edward Sam 7.
Hey, this a good ass victim. I gotta give
Nobody was paying attention.
He was on it. He was ready for them cops. He said, "Listen, ain't on 5 to 6 black males. Okay, they was wearing them poo shiesties." He was on top.
You want the tag? I give you the state ID.
The tag it expires in September. They need an inspection.
I was paying attention.
One of the headlights was a little bit lower. It wasn't out, but it was a little lower than the other one.
They got a scratch on the left-right bumper.
I think they were listening to the new Drewski song.
762. There's going to be 5 to 6 males inside wearing ski masks.
Around that same time, there's another call. An armed robbery and assault happening in the 2800 block of Guilford Avenue in North Baltimore.
An armed robbery that occurred 2800 block of Guilford, approximately 2:25 a.m. hours. Look for 5 number 1 males, all black clothing, 19 to 22 years of age, driving a white SUV.
We reached
5 number 1 males. Is number 1 black?
I don't. Yeah, they might have option 1, option 2, like
I know,
on
but
their screen.
When you say number 1, I don't know why that feels racist to me.
Cause you know that's not funny. A lot of times when you call, that sometimes they go black, white, or Hispanic.
Oh, I know why, Karen. I said it feels racist to me that we're number 1.
Oh, yeah, we are number 1 on the list, ain't
Why
we?
wouldn't we be number 2, 3, 4, 5? What was wrong with them numbers? They like, we don't want to waste no time. A black is a number 1. Okay, they the default for crime.
Anybody else, we might have to go down the list a little bit.
Yeah, we got 4 number 1 males. Okay, I went to McDonald's, ordered a number 1 combo, if you know what I'm saying.
I know, be like, what you mean Korean?
I know they be calling us that behind our back.
You know they do. Somebody call like Korean, Indian, like descent. You be like, which one is it? Shit, I forgot that number. Girl, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. They probably be like, listen, these Haitian number 1s are coming to...
Reached out to Baltimore police about the reported crimes, asking how many the group is believed to be responsible for, if the believed weapons have been located or any suspects arrested, as well as the overall concern for public safety. A spokesperson confirmed detectives believe these suspects are possibly responsible for additional robberies in the city.
Yeah, no shit. When you got that many number 1s in a car...
I mean, that's a sense of right from wrong. They know it's wrong to steal and burn down a CVS and an old person's home. I mean, come on.
Come on. So calling them thugs, just call them niggers. Just call them niggers.
We're number 1. We're number 1.
And district detectives are currently working together. Law enforcement expert Jason Johnson says robberies tend to be spree crimes, and identifying similarities will be key.
It tends to be a spree crime. So one group of young people can...
That was a funny ass edit with them opening the laptop and hitting the button. I don't know why they had to do that.
Right? Ain't that weird?
Yeah, they could have just shown them on the screen. They could have shown them actually on the screen, because you could take the video from the... You could take the video and just put it in your news. This was funny to me. I don't know why they did this.
it tends to be a spree crime. So one group of young people can steal or carjack a car and then just use that car as a mobile platform for committing further violations like carjackings and robberies. They have limited investigative resources, so they want to try to link cases together and then focus resources on offenders that are committing multiple carjackings, multiple robberies.
I asked BPD if that reported vehicle, the vehicle involved, the white SUV, the CRV, had been reported stolen. A spokesperson has not yet answered that question. The investigations are ongoing. Reporting live in North Baltimore, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Oh, Baltimore. That's why they number ones. Okay, I see.
And also the thing is, what's funny about that? I don't know if you know anything about a laptop, but he hit that shit like boop boop. I was like, that's not how you do a laptop. Normally you have to hold the button for the shit to come on.
Yeah. I actually blame Nelly for this. He had that song where he was like, I am number one. And I think it was about robbing people.
I hope not.
Don't quote me. I don't remember the lyrics. All right, y'all. That's it for today's show. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. I know some of y'all are going to write in and say we were taking it too easy on black men today. And some of y'all are going to say, I'm never going to listen to your fucking show again. You hate black men. And honestly, everyone's right. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. Y'all just gonna hear what the fuck y'all want to hear. Y'all don't be listening to this show. Y'all don't care what we got to say. Y'all just gonna be saying shit. That's fine. All right, y'all. We'll be back Saturday reading some feedback that ain't got nothing to do with us. Until then, I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.